Welcome, YouTubers, sports fans across the nation. This your boy Turtle with the Uneducated Network, and this is my show. So, you think you know sports?
Let me hear your answers. Think you better than foes. Think you don't know. Think you don't know. So you think you 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 know sports. So you think you know. So you think you know sports. So you think you know. Okay.
You think you know sports? And today we're gonna finish our trip around the NFL, AFC East, the New England Patriots, of course. I mean, 14-2. Tom Brady's still a machine, still an automatic. It's tough, man. That division has been ruled by these dudes for the better part of a decade, over 10 years. Tom Brady put up 3,500 yards passing, 28 touchdowns, and only 2 picks. That's tough. Julian Edelman had 98 receptions for 1,100 yards and 3 touchdowns. They just plug in guys in and out on that team. Gronk was down this year. They still were great. Hernandez went to jail. God rest his soul. Like, they still were great. They lose players, they replace players, and still be great. And oh, don't forget, they got some more good players coming. They added Coney Ealy, Brendan Cooks, Dwayne Allen, Gilmore. These guys are stacked and ready for another Super Bowl run. What else can you say? They're stacked and ready for another Super Bowl run. New England is one of those teams you just like, they just too good. They just too good, and you just want something to happen. And, just like, man, I just wish they get their ass whooped this year. I just wish they fall flat on their ass, but it ain't gonna happen. And that was pretty much their draft. They did get on the board in the 3rd round, and they got 2 defensive ends and 2 offensive tackles. In the 3rd round, they got Derek Rivers. They draft really was them moving those pieces to get Coney Ealy and Brendan Cooks and Dwayne Allen, Gilmore, to fit those guys into that scheme with Tom Brady. That's tough, man. The rich get richer, man. Tom Brady is one of the best quarterbacks of our era, of my lifetime. Since I've been watching football, he's one of the best quarterbacks ever. Drew Brees up there with him for sure. I got to shout out my boy Drew Brees for sure. But, we made Brendan Cooks. Yeah, he was a baller. I ain't going to knock him, shoot that arrow, but we made that boy, though. You see how we do. We got Willie Snead. But anyway, moving right along with the Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins and Ryan Tannehill put up 2,900 yards passing, 19 touchdowns, and 12 picks. That's not bad numbers. It could certainly be better. But Ryan Tannehill got hurt at the end of the season, which kind of derailed them going into the playoffs. They running back Jay came on strong to put up 1,200 yards rushing with 8 touchdowns. And don't forget, Jarvis Landry, LSU product, came out of there with 94 receptions and 1,100 yards for 4 touchdowns. So Miami Dolphins got a good team, man. They just got to build it up. They just got to keep on going, put a couple pieces back in place. They're right there on the cusp of it. Don't forget, we also, another guy Drew Brees made, just to touch on that last point, we sent them Kenny Stills, and he's still doing pretty good with them as well. So Drew Brees make guys. Make sure I make that point for y'all. But they drafted Charles Harris with the 22nd overall pick, outside linebacker. They went heavy on the defensive side of the ball. They know that the offense is getting better with the running back, J, Jarvis Landry, and Ryan Tannehill. You got a good nucleus, so it's time to build up that defense now. And that's that look like that's what they're working on. So that's the Dolphins are definitely headed in the right direction, man. I give them some credit on that. The Buffalo Bills were 7-9, and Tyrod Taylor put up 3,000 yards, 17 touchdowns, and 6 picks. He was kind of more of a game manager this year. They don't want to give him the keys to the Ferrari. I don't know why, but they don't want to give him the keys to the Ferrari. They say he can't throw too well, so they kind of baby him with those little run dink and dunk plays, you know, because Shady McCoy put up, LaShawn McCoy put up 1,267 yards rushing, 13 touchdowns, and 300 plus receiving yards. So you can see who was the bulk of their offense. You know, it's that spread option, that pass out, that POA, whatever it is. You can decide if you want to keep it or hand it off or whatever. And it kind of derails the actual quarterbacking, you know, sometimes, because most of the time, if you got a good running back like LaShawn McCoy, you're probably going to be more inclined to hand the ball off to him and let him pick up some yards, and he does a great job doing it. He's a very shifty running back. Lorenzo Alexander put up 12.5 sacks, so they got a good defense. You know, Rex definitely built up the defense for him, and just to touch on that, with the 27th pick, they drafted LSU product Tre'Davious White, cornerback. Looked like they went a little bit on both sides. They even got a quarterback in the draft, Nathan Peterman. So that's a name we'll keep out for. You know, sometimes Tom Brady wasn't a name, you know. Sometimes those guys fall, and you never know when they get an opportunity if they can actually show up to the show out, you know, and do something, you know. So we'll keep an eye on him. But it looked like they went kind of balanced, though, on in the draft. So the Bills is, you know, that's one of those teams. They need to find a quarterback of the future because they don't have confidence in their guy. So they need to search for a quarterback of the future. There's nothing else to be said about them. The Jets were 5-11. Ryan Fitzpatrick put up 2,700 yards passing, 12 touchdowns, and 17 picks. Like, damn, you was giving up that booty, boy. God, come on, man. You can't be giving up that ball. If you was my quarterback, man, I'd be all over your ass. But you can't be giving up that ball like that, man. Matt Forte put up 813 yards, 7 touchdowns. So the Jets is another team. When you're in that division, it's already, you got to do a hell of a lot to even be relevant, you know. So putting up numbers like that, damn sure ain't gonna get you there. You know, Quincy Enunwa, I don't know how to say his name, but he put up 857 yards and 4 touchdowns. So they got a good nucleus right there. With Fitzpatrick on his last leg, they still need a quarterback of the future, and Bryce Petty don't look like he is. He look petty. He don't look like he is. He look like a petty quarterback. He don't look like he is. And with the 6th pick in the draft, LSU product, they went and got Jamal Adams. And I like Jamal Adams, man. They look like they built up more on both sides in the draft for them. They went kind of heavy on both sides, equaled it out a little bit. 2 cornerbacks, 2 receivers, you know, et cetera, et cetera. So that's really the makings of you're building a team type of deal. You know, it's not necessarily a let's win now type of draft. You know, it's you know, let's get. They got 2 safeties, 2 receivers, 2 cornerbacks, a running back, a tight end, and a defensive lineman. You know, that's build your team type of draft right there. You know, let's get some guys in some key places. That way we can move out guys with bigger contracts, you know, and we can try to rebuild this whole thing back up. But just to give you a real quick recap, the Patriots were 14-2, the Dolphins were 10-6, the Bills were 7-9, and the Jets were 5-11. That was the AFC East, episode number 8. That was the last episode of our trip around the NFL. Stay tuned for my weekly shows that's going to be coming. I'm going to drop a show every week. Once the preseason starts, I'll be highlighting certain games and trying to touch in on various topics on that aspect. I will have a show every Tuesday. Me and my last guest, my brother Greg, Jeezy Miyagi. We're gonna have a show every Tuesday to highlight the games that were played on Sunday and Monday night. So we'll have a show on Tuesdays. We'll try to get that one out for y'all by Tuesday night. What else for y'all, man? We got a lot of stuff ahead. I'll be doing local player interviews with high school guys around the area. I'm going to start trying to get some interviews with those guys, a couple guys around the area, and try to promote them and help them get to the next level. So stay tuned for that. Be looking out for a couple lake area. I don't know what I'm going to call that one yet, but be looking out for some lake area talent, football and basketball talent. And that's it for y'all, man. So you think you know sports? What you